I'm never going to have a redemption arc. Nobody shows up. I got like 240 viewers. This is the day that I start to fall off. I wake up every day in fear. I'm sitting crying about it because, like, pity party.
And so, the thumb man who cheated his diet outside Good Springs cheated his diet once again. After the Battle of London, many thought it was the push Richard needed to finally change once and for all. At first, tourists arrived in masses, showing support. Eventually, some got bored. Others left when Richard's true nature inevitably started to show once more. In the new world of Trailer 101, team bullying continued. Pepsi was spilled, and many laughed and enjoyed, just as they had in the old world. Because Wings never changes.
Baseball doesn't exist no more. I've forgotten more about baseball than some people know about it. Snorlax is my spirit Pokemon. Life is not a fair game. Like, the vast majority of things that's going to happen in life are not going to be fair. And if you can't find that you're understanding, you're going to struggle with a lot of life because of that. Like, the world's almost shielded, right? Like, the world wants you to believe that if you're a good person and you make the right choices, everything will work out. And sometimes it does. But realistically, there's situations where you can do everything right, and I mean everything, and still lose. You gotta take people for who they are, not what you want them to be, and learn to love the things that you love about them, not the things that you disagree with, might annoy you, or other things like that. Example in my personal life: my grandmother had a 6th grade education. She dropped out of school in 6th grade because she couldn't smoke in school. True story. My great-grandma had 8 kids, and she was a little bit of a wild child. She liked to drink, she liked to screw, and that's who she was in her youth, right? She was one of the most influential people in my life, either good or bad. There's bad things that happen in my life, there's good things that happen in my life. Would I give any of it up? No. Because even though, like, she would have reactions like a toddler, like, for example, if she didn't get the gift she wanted at like Christmas or something like that, she would like almost have a hissy fit. But we knew that would happen. We still loved her for who she was and not who we wanted her to be. So, like, be more about understanding than expectations. Yeah, we're talking about Gangsta Grandma. Pass, dude. I don't know what that means. How do you see Game Pass on Switch? I'm just going to search it. I don't see it. Nintendo Switch Online, free download. Oh. I don't know what you're talking about. Can I see anything without glasses? Yeah, I can see a myriad of colors. I mean, I could physically walk through a building without my glasses. Am I looking forward to Modern Warfare 3? No, not really. Honestly, there's not really a game out there right now that I'm looking forward to. What does myriad mean? That means like all the colors combining, almost like a kaleidoscope, right? Stolen thumbnail? Yeah, I stole a thumbnail of my stream. That's what I did. Modern Warfare 3 is already boring. Is the beta out for Modern Warfare 3 again? I don't know. I got to straighten my office up. Honestly, I think I've just grown past Call of Duty. Like, I can play it, but what I actually enjoy in games now is the strategy aspect of games, not so much like I want to be better. Like, when I was a younger man, like in my mid-20s, when I first started YouTube, I was so, like, silently obsessed with being the best. I wanted to be the best. I wanted people to look at me at the best. I wanted people to look up to me in gaming. And as I've gotten older, I don't care no more. Like when I want to play a game, I still want to do well. I want to win. But at the same time, I don't care about being considered the best at what I do, because I know I don't have the reactions anymore to be the best. But I can still try my best at doing what I'm good at. Right? And like, I think that's a good life sign for anybody. Like, you might not be the best shot, but there's other things that you can do well as well. And I think Rainbow taught me a lot of this. Like, when I first started playing Rainbow, I couldn't get kills to save my life. I remember I deleted Rainbow Six 3 times in one day, one time. And so I had to start concentrating on, I can't do this to the level I want to do it at, but what can I do to help the team to win? And I think a lot of people struggle with that aspect of, like, passing the baton or giving away. I was better at COD back then. I don't think so. I honestly don't. I think skill-based matchmaking was less, and I think I played the game more, right? Because like when you go back and watch me play World at War, you have to understand I had something like 50 plus days on World at War. I knew every spawn on every map. I've played every instance. I knew the weapons recoil like the back of my hand. Literally, my life consisted of waking up, making one video, because I made the 2 before I went to sleep that night, uploading 3 videos, then playing for 8 or 9 hours, taking the 8 or 9 hours of videos, making 2 videos out of it, and planning a third, going back to sleep, waking up and making another video. That was my life for almost 3 years. 7 days a week, every day. And the way I supplemented that was taking on other responsibilities, such as like I would do that, and instead of like gaming 8 hours a day, I would slowly slip away, like time I'd play Call of Duty, to go run a restaurant or to get things done at City Hall or whatever it might be, trying to get another business started. I was hungry. I was a young man. I had ambition. I had testosterone. I had drive. Right? None of it worked out. All it did was burn me out, and it made me more frustrated because, like, since I didn't have 9 hours a day to get clips or get gameplays or get certain ways to work certain actions, I ended up getting frustrated with the game to the point I hated it. This was right around Modern Warfare 3 the first time it came out. And, I lost this gameplay because, this didn't happen or that didn't happen. And it's like, it is what it is. Like, there's always going to be somebody better than you, right? It's just, it's like your car. Like, you should enjoy your car for what it is, not for what you want it to be, right? If you have a Camry, don't expect it to be a race car. Be something that you like. That cat, he has access to food 24 hours a day. If he's hungry, it's his own fault. What's the donation goal today? It's $130, but it is what it is. I mean, like, I've felt so many times with that, it's like there's no reason to have a goal. That's another thing, Blackout. Like I've noticed, like I play a lot of Diablo 2, right? Like Diablo 2 is a mindless game for me, but I've recently started finding that I suck the fun out of some games by playing them to complete them, right? Like how many times have you sat down and you played a game and your whole goal is to just get to the next part of the story or to get the game over with, right? You're pushing through this section because you already know what's happening in this section instead of actually enjoying what's happening in that section. Like I always find myself looking in the distance to something else, right? And let's use Diablo for example. If I'm level 42 in Nightmare Act 2 or something like that, right? I'm looking towards Shaco, right? I'm like, all right, I'll be 63, but I gotta go do all this before I get 63. And then like I move the goalpost, instead of just enjoying for what it is, right? Like enjoying playing the game, trying things on the character, trying something new, trying a different play style, And I'm trying to shift my ways so that I enjoy things in the moment more than always looking in the horizon. Like you're always looking for like, all right, I'm gonna get this stat to put this piece of gear on to fight this boss, and instead of just like learning the area and enjoying the area that you're in. Good luck finding a Shaco solo. I've found 3 of them already. Philosophias. Like Shaco is not a hard item to find. Like, did you see the guy who got platinum on Diablo 2 in 24 hours? No, that's bullshit. Physically impossible to platinum Diablo 2 in 24 hours. Random. You know the reason he's going to do a third one? Because it's easy content. Like, a video that's like 45 minutes to an hour long that gets 1 million views, that's worth about $4,000 to him. That's why he's doing a third one. He's not passionate about it. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel, making easy content. That's what those channels do. If you had $1 million once you platinum Diablo 2, how long would it take you? A week and a half. I've played probably more Diablo 2 than Blackout's played Destiny. I'll put it like that. Like I've been playing Diablo 2 for 23 years. I'm one of the best in the world at that game. I'm at the point where I don't even use meta builds for the most part. Why not start a Diablo 2 channel? I don't want to. What name did Kelly call me by? No, she's mad at me. I don't like spending money. There's things I'd love to spend money on right now. Like, I really want Lords of the Fall and Lies of P for the PlayStation. There's $140. I wouldn't mind getting Modern Warfare 3. There's $210. I'd like another PlayStation 5 controller because my current ones are gotten to the point where like all the ribs have kind of wore off the back. That's another $70. So we're about $300 in right now. I'd love to change the transmission fluid on my truck. That's about $200. Differential fluid is another $100. So we're at $600 I'd like to spend. Or some other things I'd love to do. I wouldn't mind two or three pairs of new pants. There's another $200. But, you know, it's all about prioritizing. And like one of the things I fear the most in my life is because like right now I'm making no savings. Like I'm not broke by any means. I have money left over. But at no means am I making savings. And like I want to, like, please, for the love of God, listen to what I'm about to say, guys, especially if you're young. The money that you waste now is important, right? Save it. Save it, save it, save it. When I was young, I would make a $1,000 mistake. And that $1,000 could be used later on in life when you can't earn it. Because like the fallacy that most people have when they're young is that there's always more time to make money. And as you get older, it gets harder and you can't dictate the future. Save your money. Realize that you're messing up. What I'm saying is like, look at how old is Bruce Willis right now? Family announced last March that he was retiring due to aphasia, APHASIA, which interferes with the ability to understand speech or speak. He was recently diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. Nobody's got a crystal ball. So there could come a time in your life where like you gotta pick between food and medicine. Couple things that as I've gotten older and like I've experienced, and I know this, me telling you guys this won't change the way you're gonna live your life, but I have to say it to make myself feel better, right? I find myself like pining for like my old truck. Right, I had a 2002 Silverado, had the thing for 18 years before I sold it, and I look back and I'm like, you know, my current truck, it's nice, but it's not $32,000 nice. I'd rather had $32,000 I spent on my current truck and just had my old truck, right? Like, don't get caught up in the Joneses. Don't let things that are flashy fool you. Like, none of my spending ever dealt with my income, right? Like, when I lost my source of income, I was north of $50K in savings, right? Even after all my mistakes. My issue is my brain got to me, right? My brain got to me. I got depressed. I sat around for like a year, 2 years, 2.5 years. I forgot. And just lived off my savings for the most part. My YouTube channel made like $1,000 a month. Like when I was doing Walking 365, I was making $800. I think the year I did Walking 365, I made $12,000 or less, right? $12,000 or less. Like I made nothing that year. I just lived my whole life. I'd wake up, I'd do my walks, I'd make my video, and I would sit around. What was I doing? I was playing mainly Dark Souls at that point. That's why I always say this was when Walking 365 fell apart. I was even more hard on myself because I failed at another venture, and I kind of like skidded water and Fallout 4 came out, and I was completely over it. I was over everything at that point, and like Fallout 4 gave me another reason to live. So it's like when I did my Let's Play, I'm like, it gave me something to look forward to because I was such a huge Fallout fan. And then I gave Dark Souls 2 another challenge because I watched This Is How You Don't Play Dark Souls 2 by Phil. And which it wasn't by Phil, somebody making fun of Phil, but like I enjoyed the concept so much, I'm like, I'm gonna give that another try. And like Dark Souls kept my mind at ease longer than it should have, and like that kind of got me to where I was needed. No, I don't like Fallout 4 more than New Vegas. What I'm saying is the whole concept of like having something to look forward to, because like Fallout 4 for me was like an epiphany. It's like, oh my God, I remember having dreams like of the game coming out and things like that. No, Cookie, we're at $35, so we're about $100 short. I can tell you right now, Duluth Hero, I'm never going to have a redemption arc. It's never going to happen. I'm a manic depressant that's borderline bipolar. Like, I'm more likely to have my health go downhill than I am to have a redemption arc. But I know this about myself. People are like, you had a perfect opportunity at boxing. I still got that opportunity. I could call Keemstar up right now on the phone, and he'd get me on the next card. But you're living in a fantasy land if you think a 420-pound man is going to make a boxing career on the wrong side of 30. That's not the way forward. Never heard of Butterball? You're even getting his name wrong. His name is Butterbean. I don't think Drifter should box Egg Thoughts. I think both Drifter and 8 Thoughts have their own battles they have to deal with, right? Why don't I do 2-hour-long pre-stream podcasts like Phil? I don't care enough about what I have to say or my opinion anymore. Have you ever given your thoughts on Boogie selling his stuff and he's going through? I don't want to... I can do it, but I didn't openly say anything about Boogie selling his stuff because I don't want to be one of those people dogpiling on him. Like, when you have to get to the point where you have to sell the equity of your items to stay afloat without any kind of game plan in place, where are you going? Right? Like, look at it this way. Boogie says he made, I don't know, let's call it $3,000. So me and Boogie make about the same. I make about $3,000 a month. But the difference is all my stuff's paid for and Boogie's is not. So Boogie has a house note, which we don't know what his house note is. He said he eyeballed it. He thinks he has $35,000 worth of stuff there. Let's call it street value, probably about 22. Right? Does he have more than $20,000 left on his house note? Most likely, right? I don't know how long he's held his house, but house notes are usually pretty substantial. He most likely has a bigger house note than $22,000. So unless he puts a plan in place that's going to make him more money than he's currently making, which is very difficult, right? Not everybody has a YouTube channel that makes $15,000 a month, right? So unless he does something that puts that in place, he's eventually going to be sitting in that house and not be able to make the house payment, and everything he's selling will just be gone, and then the house gets foreclosed on by the bank and sold at an auction. Like, it's a depressing, dark thing that I don't want to speak on for him. Right? I've been on YouTube since January of 2008. October 28th, 2009 was my first YouTube video, but I started YouTube January 28th of 2008. And I basically helped a guy named Z7 Taylor do most of his stuff then. Boogie never bought a Tesla. Boogie owns a Camry. You're out here wanting to beat up on a man on his choices instead of where his future lies. Well, first off, he had 16-ounce gloves on. There was no way I was going to physically be able to hurt Boogie, right? Like, so I wasn't going to have it cause him to have a seizure or anything like that. So beating him up is one thing. I'm more disappointed that we didn't put on a better showing than we did. But we did put a better show on than, like, I feel like mine and Boogie's match is more fun to watch than, like, that KSI Tommy Fury match I watched the other night. Right? Because, like, it felt like every time the KSI Tommy Fury match was going to happen, nothing happened. Just imagine if me and Boogie went out there and laid on each other for 4.5 minutes. It was so much of a letdown. So I was trying, like, I punched more than I wanted to because Boogie wasn't doing anything. And, like, so I wanted to make the fight as fun as humanly possible. Because at the end, crossover boxing isn't so much about being a good boxer, it's about being an entertainer, right? You're there to entertain people, and in return, you get money for it. This is literally level 1 podcast. I do these from time to time. It's just called Just Chatting Podcast. But Phil has a gift. Like, Phil would be a great podcaster if you could get him outside of, like, the realm of, like Phil doesn't look at himself as a lolcow. If you could get Phil out of that realm and just get him on a podcast where he just talked without fear of retribution on everything he said, he would make money. He'd make a lot of money. But the issue is he's stuck, he's comfortable, and being comfortable sometimes will kill you. Because I don't know about Phil, but I wake up every day in fear that I'm going to click on this button and nobody shows up. Every day I think about it. Like, every time I stream and I got like 240 viewers instead of 300, I think this is the day that I start to fall off. But hey, I'm sorry if I'm sitting here crying about it, because, like, Eddie's one of those people that believed in me and I didn't believe in myself. And I don't think he knows how much I appreciated him. pity party. You got to be upset about something to have a pity party, man. You know, it's pathetic that you live in such a narcissistic. You have such a narcissistic view of the world that you automatically assume masculinity based on emotions. Yeah, I'm crying because, you know, because I thought it was, because it softens my heart to think that somebody cares enough about me, because I don't care enough about myself, right? If you cared about yourself, you wouldn't look like I look, right? It just wouldn't happen. But you got to intrinsically give yourself value.